Chapter 173, The Prisoners of Heresy. This chapter is updated by novels.pl. Zhang Yuochen and Huang Yanjun rushed towards Ziqian at their fastest speed. They still arrived too late. Ziqian was nowhere to be found. All they could see was a dark mist with a radius of around 300 meters. "Who the hell are you people?" Zhang Yuochen drew his snow dragon sword and glared at the mist cloud. Thanks to his strong spiritual power, he could sense the position of their enemies. In the distance, he heard the sound of footsteps echoing from the dark, misty miasma. Many warriors in shabby clothes emerged from the mist. Some were old warriors in their 70s, some were bearded, middle-aged male warriors, and some were female warriors. More than 70 of them emerged from the mist. Though their clothes were shabby and they looked particularly down on their luck, their gazes were sharp and utterly murderous. Each one of them was a first-class warrior. An old man with grey hair stood beside Ziqian, tightly clutching her shoulder. His 5 fingers dug into Ziqian like iron nails, leaving 5 bleeding cuts in her shoulder. Ziqian locked eyes with Zhang Yuochen. She bit down on her lip and shook her head, signaling for Zhang Yuochen to flee. Zhang Yuochen noticed Ziqian's unspoken plea, but didn't run away. If he fled, what would become of Ziqian? A young, white-clad man with 2 swords sheathed behind his back walked out of the crowd. He bowed towards Huang Yanjun with clasped hands. "Greetings, Senior Sister Apprentice Huang and Senior Brother Apprentice Zhang," he said. Huang Yanjun stared coldly at the young man. "Mo Qinglong," she said, "who would have thought you were the spy from the black market? You hid well." This young man was none other than Mo Qinglong, the 7th-ranked student on Western Campus. Zhang Yuochen had observed Mo Qinglong's battles during the quarterly assessment of Western Campus. At the time, Zhang Yuochen had perceived Mo Qinglong's hidden strength and concluded he was simply a young superior who preferred not to reveal his true power. He would never have guessed that Mo Qinglong was a spy. Mo Qinglong shook his head. "No," he said to Huang Yanjun, "we're not from the black market. We are from the moon worship demonic sect." Excepting the black market heretics, many prisoners in the Qigong secret mansion were disciples from the moon worship demonic sect. The remaining prisoners were mostly harmless stragglers. Huang Yanjun's gaze hardened. She stared at the countless prisoners lined up behind Mo Qinglong, seeing them in a new light. It seemed they were all masters of the moon worship demonic sect. The moon worship demonic sect was far worse than the black market. "We have nothing against the moon worship demonic sect," Zhang Yuochen said. "If you want to leave, we won't stop you." "What's the point of capturing Junior Sister Apprentice?" Mo Qinglong gave Zhang a hard look. "These prisoners have been held here for many years," he replied. "They have neither weapons or armor, and captivity has caused their physical quality to weaken. Even if they rushed out of Qigong secret mansion en masse, they would still be recaptured by the masters from the school of the martial market. In short, there's only one way left for us." Mo Qinglong fixed his gaze on Huang Yanjun. "We need your help if we're going to escape this place safely," he said. "I'm afraid there's nothing I can do for you," Huang Yanjun replied. Mo Qinglong shook his head. "You are the princess of Cayenne's Yue prefecture," he said. "If we hold you hostage, the masters of the martial market school will have to yield to our demands." He smirked. "Senior Sister Apprentice Huang, would you like to save Junior Sister Apprentice Z? If you agree to be our hostage and help us flee, we will release her right away." Huang Yanjun briefly glanced at Ziqian. "We aren't friends," she replied. "I don't care if you kill her." Mo Qinglong considered for a while before shifted his gaze to Zhang Yuochen. "Senior Brother Apprentice Zhang, are you just going to stand by and watch as we kill your friend?" he asked. Zhang Yuochen squinted. "What makes you think we're friends?" he asked. Zhang Yuochen and Ziqian were actually very close, but few people knew this. How did Mo Qinglong learn about them? This Zhang Yuochen is quite something, Mo Qinglong thought. He can perceive the slightest flaws in an enemy's words or actions. No wonder Lady Saint asked me to pay special attention to him. This was why Lady Saint's plan involved Huang Yanjun's capture by the moon worship demonic cult. Before entering the Qigong secret mansion, Mo Qinglong received a secret letter from Lady Saint. Lady Saint's letter mentioned that by capturing Huang Yanjun and holding her hostage, they could rescue the prisoners from Chikong's secret mansion without being hunted down by the warriors of the martial market school. Mo King Long didn't know Lady Saint's true identity, but he was sure she was secretly part of the martial market school. Mo King Long calmed himself, trying not to let Zhang Yuochen unsettle him. Senior brother apprentice Zhang, he continued, if you can persuade senior sister apprentice Huang to be our hostage, we will release junior sister apprentice Zi. Furthermore, once we leave Omen Ridge, we will immediately let senior sister apprentice Huang go free. You have my word. Zhang Yuochen shook his head. I don't think I can persuade her, he said. Mo King Long sighed. We aren't like the black market, he replied. Once we make a promise, believe me, we'll definitely keep it. Besides, there are many masters among us. If we fight seriously, you may not be able to escape. Why are you wasting time talking to them? Let's kill this chick right now so we can capture Princess Yanjun. The grey-haired old man clutching Ziqian's shoulder raised his arm to smack the top of her head, a cruel luster in his eyes. He put all his strength into the blow, seemingly intending to smash Ziqian's head open. Zhang Yuochen's expression changed. He instantly released his space domain, extending it out to cover 90 meters. Pure jade genuine chi poured from Zhang Yuochen's palms and merged with the space domain, manifesting the power of space freezing. The grey-haired old man's arm stopped in midair. The old man had only cultivated to the completion of the Black Realm, hence he simply couldn't break the suppressing effect of the space domain. Swish! Zhang Yuochen channeled genuine chi through the meridians of his legs. He took a single step forward and transformed into a shadow. He dashed towards Ziqian with the speed of the wind, intending to carry her away. Hey, you're too young to steal from us, boy. A big, bald, 2-meter-tall fellow sprang forward and landed on Zhang Yuochen's right side. He channeled the last dregs of his genuine chi through his fists and punched at the small of Zhang Yuochen's back. The big bald fellow was a chief of the moon worship demonic sect. He'd cultivated to the mid-stage of the Earth realm by practicing a strong exercise called the Great King Kong Martial Classic. Whenever he channeled genuine chi, his skin would glow with a golden hue, as if his body had been cast in copper gold. Zhang Yuochen used one hand to pull Ziqian free and the other to swing his sword towards the big bald fellow. Swish! A 10-meter arc of icy cold sword breath flew from his sword, a white line that cut the big bald fellow's torso. Crunch! The razor-sharp sword breath slashed open the big bald fellow's chest, leaving a bloody, foot-long gash and even severing some ribs. The big bald fellow flew back and hit the ground, blood pouring from his chest wound. They can't beat us all. Let's take them down together. Han Sanfu stood among the heretical masters with a tranquil face, a gaze cold as ice and a body like a mountain. He practically gave off strong martial arts aura. He was a chief of the moon worship demonic sect, greatly esteemed among his disciples, who had cultivated to the completion of the Earth realm. Every word from Han Sanfu's lips burst forth like thunder and resonated in Zhang Yuochen's ears. His words made Zhang Yuochen recoil and strained his meridians, particularly the blood meridian, to the breaking point. Upon hearing Han Sanfu's orders, 12 masters from the moon worship demonic sect all attacked Zhang Yuochen at once. Zhang Yuochen pulled out the war map Luo Shuaihan had given him. He unfurled the map and poured a continuous stream of genuine chi into it. The surface of the war map started to glow blood-red light. Boom! Over 10 giant leopard-headed blood bats flew out of the war map. They swooped towards the 12 moon worship demonic sect masters on flapping wings, baring their sharp, bloody teeth.